Hi, welcome to the podcast today. It's Tuesday, April 15th. Two quick things before we dive into today's two guests, M and M. And I was going to say, M, there are nothing mayoral coming our way today. Close to that, though. City Council. Returning for the second time is from Maumee City Council, Margo Puffenberger. She has brought a guest along with her to talk about the debut of the Maumee Farmers Market. We'll get to that momentarily. A terribly frightening situation happened Friday night. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast, but I have on the radio show. I would say the two best restaurateurs in the area would be Kengo and Musa. I say that because maybe they were both my neighbors when I lived downtown in St. Clair Village, but their food is absolutely delicious. Kengo's new place, Papa K's, has opened up in the spot where that ice cream shop was for 7 seconds next to Home Slice, where Pita Pit used to be, and I missed that place. Musa opened Souk. Has it been 5 years ago? 4 years ago? Delicious place. He has opened up a second place as the Kengo Musa War continues on. I say that tongue in cheek. It's called Sabira. It's Mediterranean based, but more focused on Italian. A friend told me that they have pizzas and pastas, things like that. They opened late last week. Friday, there's a man who had a couple of drinks in Souk. He walked into Sabira and pulled a gun out and pulled the trigger on his ex-wife and her parents. The safety was on, thank goodness, and he was tackled by employees and patrons and held until police showed up. He is a lawyer, or was a lawyer, had a gun issue, trying to buy something at Cabela's. Is that the one in Dundee? A year or so ago. From some other people that have shared things with me, this man has spiraled down in life. We have lost another person apparently to the demons of the disease of substance abuse, but a horrific situation. And can you imagine? I hope you never have to imagine or think about hearing the clicking of a trigger being pulled in your face. And again, there's frightening video of this. Another thing, there was a meeting for an upcoming Perrysburg levy. I think I saw that it was a renewal, and it goes back to the schools again as they try to get more money, and nobody showed up. I'm sure that's some kind of protest against against Perrysburg continually trying to get these levies passed. Let me throw out something I set aside for. I sent this to someone earlier, but I'll throw it out now because I wanted to put it on the podcast. I'm sure it was a protest, and I feel bad. Everybody needs money for something, likely because past leadership didn't budget correctly or because they couldn't predict the future, and now citizens just lose their mind. It's no win. We talked about this a little bit last week with Roberto Torres. He is impugning current and recent administrations when maybe ones he was part of or ones decades ago. They had to handle their problems at that time for their constituents, so they couldn't look ahead. And it's above my head to understand why so many places, so many municipalities are seeking money. And I would always go back to the banal thought of cities of a good size just don't, especially where we live, Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, Rust Belt, Midwest, they just don't have the money that they did when they built these places 150 years ago. They're old places now. So we have to ask citizens, again, going back to the Roberto discussion, we have to ask citizens who are departing these areas, and more burden is on the ones that are remaining. So to his point, let's draw a business there. To that point, and staying in Perrysburg, there is a mayoral candidate that has stepped forward. Her name is Deborah Bourne. She would like to run for mayor. We could have 3 new mayors in the big cities in this area: Sylvania, Toledo, and Perrysburg. And maybe if they displace our Maumee friends as well, would it be 4? I think I have everybody right there. We need economic development to bring in high-paying jobs that will help us pay for fire, police, water, and sewer services to ease citizens' pockets. She also views the arts as being an important anchor. What concerns Bourne the most is the budget that is estimated $4.7 million downtown development project that is not needed and would burden taxpayer pockets. I would put this money into the general budget fund to address the needs of water and sewer treatment plant where it is desperately required. The downtown area is charming, historic, and quaint. Why would we want to lose that? And this is where you've got to get a really smart person, and you've got, like I always say, let the math make the decision. We need to see how much money the reimagining, the updating, the modernizing of downtown would bring in. Could that be part of what she said earlier in this, to bring in high-paying jobs, like we talked about last week with Roberto? Do all these, take care of all the little things, and the big things take care of themselves. Take care of all those little things that would make potential employees for a large company happy, get them done. But again, someone who is much better at math and can build cities far better than me can answer that much better than me. So, as I suspected, this is a first. There's one in Toledo, maybe the most popular one, that happens Saturdays. Flower Days is next month. There's the Sylvania one that happens in the Sears parking lot. Let's get to know about the Maumee Farmers Market that is brand new now. Why don't you introduce your guest?
Okay. I'm Margo Puffenberger, and this is my guest, Maria.
Not you.
Hi.
Come on.
Well, I thought I had to say who I was, so who I was introducing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm simply here as a conduit to record you and your guest.
Oh, well,
it's nice
no, that is not what we...
It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, same.
You dropped by to visit with your guest.
Yes, Maria.
To talk all. Hello, Maria. What's your last name?
Sanderson.
Hi.
Sorry.
I guess I'll take over from here. You guys are here today to talk about the Maumee Farmers Market. Who are you and what are you?
Yes. So I'm Maria Sanderson. I am the current secretary of the Maumee Uptown Business Association. So Maumee Uptown Business Association started this wonderful farmers market. We have been meeting pretty much every other Wednesday since, for quite a while.
Monthly before that.
Yeah. We've been working really hard to kind of get this put together. We have two wonderful coordinators, Katie Petit and Megan McClellan, who have been working on this kind of most of their free time, and doing a good job of getting some vendors around and some awesome food trucks for the area. So we're just really pumped.
I have a dumb question. I think I might know the answer based on the context.
Yeah.
Is this new?
This is brand new, yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes. So Maumee used to have a farmer's market put on by the Senior Center. Yep. But that kind of died off, and we decided, we needed to.
Interesting choice of words.
Well, it was paired up with like a food truck Friday thing, and I mean there's lots of different reasons for where it kind of went, like the location that it was. I think it was around the time the Monnette slot sold.
Yep.
So there's a lot of different factors.
Definitely.
But now is the perfect timing to bring it up.
But now it's an official Maumee Farmers Market.
Yes. The Uptown Maumee Farmers Market.
Uptown.
Yes.
Which would make you think that there's a downtown Maumee Farmers Market, but
yeah.
there's no downtown.
There's not.
So I guess the most important thing in here of the many details to get to, when is it and when does it begin?
So it starts May 28th. We will be having it every Wednesday from 4 to 7 with our vendors then, and then until 8 o'clock, we have music and food trucks are staying there.
Got it.
And then it'll end on October 15th.
Got it. What was the biggest challenge getting this thing up and running?
Really just, kind of coordinating and figuring out with the city, everything on how we can make this come to light and happen. And the city has just been generous enough to host it as well, because we're having it in the municipal lot on the corner of East John and Gibbs. So we're just really excited that they were able to kind of help out and get things running off the ground.
What about the vendors that you've gathered to be a part of this? What was it like approaching them? What was their level of enthusiasm or not?
Yeah, so we are a grow it, bake it, make it.
What does that
market. So anything is produced by farmers and vendors within the local area. So at this time, we're not doing any type of artisan craft thing. So it's all really produce and meats and any type of things that can be grown, baked, or made.
Sure.
That's the weekly thing. We will do
Yeah.
an artisans.
Yes.
thing.
Every third Wednesday will
Yes.
be an artisan market included with it as well. So it'll just be in the adjacent lot to that.
Got it. Good to know. So
Yeah.
every third Wednesday.
Correct.
Got it. So maybe like a miniature version of the summer fair?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Cool.
More kind of like crafty things to go along with the
Definitely.
food based. Because we wanted to make sure it was a place people could come and get food
Yep.
items.
Who are some of the vendors? Some of the big ones, some of the ones people
Yeah.
might not be familiar with that are a part of it?
So we kind of have a mix. There's quite a few produce vendors that we have from the area. And then we have Full Flavored Meats is one of them. They're a big meat truck. They're at the Toledo Farmers Market. So they have so many different things. We have Bracy Bison. Who are some of the produce?
We have some mushroom
Yes.
places. I'm blanking on the names. And we've got we've got some flower vendors
Yes.
too. So that's kind of like a fresh thing that can be editable, but I'm Fang Boner Farms. So they have the flowers.
Do you know the total amount of vendors you've got going for the first year?
We have 41.
Wow, that's a lot.
Which exceeded our goal of 30. So
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm sure people are familiar with the Toledo Farmers Market downtown. Maybe the Sylvania Farmers Market that happens, I think, on Tuesdays in the old Sears parking lot. Why should I come to this farmers market as opposed to getting my produce and other things from the many other farmers markets in the area?
Yeah, well, this one is awesome because we do have 41 vendors, which is pretty exciting. A lot of them do kind of participate in others as well, but I think we have a good mix of vendors. And then it is on Wednesday, so it's just another one to stop by.
Sure.
Right?
Who are some of the food trucks? That's always a big deal with people wanting to get out and check things out.
Yeah, so we learned that there are quite a few lemonade food trucks in the area, so we have every single one.
Yeah, every week we'll have a lemonade stand. It will be a different one possibly every week. Everything's on rotation. So I think people are coming once a month. So there'll be kind of 4 different vendors each week on kind of a rotation. So it won't be the same ones each week.
So
but there will always be lemonade.
There will always be.
Yes.
Always
So that's
lemonade.
the hook. The hook of the Maumee the Uptown Maumee Farmers Market is come get your lemonade.
Yes.
And if
Sure.
I were suggesting, I think those things are quite good and refreshing as long as you don't get the gobs of sugar in them.
Hey, sometimes
Sure.
that's a big perk,
I
you know?
I
You have
totally
to
get.
counter the sour.
Yes. There was one lemonade truck. I was parched at last year's Jeep Fest, and I could run over. I didn't want water anymore. I wanted something with some flavor, and there was one lemonade truck that I'm sure you guys will have at some point this year.
sure.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name, and I saw the gobs of sugar being put in, and I don't have a sugar tooth. It was like, you can give me the diet or the light version, and it was still very tasty.
That's good.
Good.
I'm good
Well,
for
I'm sure
lemonade.
you can ask for the same from
Yeah.
these
I will.
Yeah.
these lemonade vendors.
Do you remember? Because we're kind of the same age.
Okay.
Kind
Yeah.
of. Am I
I don't know
insulting
your
you by
age.
that?
No.
Okay.
I don't know how old you are. I think everyone's my age, so
Oh, okay. I'll be
I mean-
I'll be 46 next month.
well, very close. I'm 43.
Do you remember when we grew up drinking Crystal Light and all
Oh,
their
yes.
lemonades and iced teas? Yeah.
Yeah.
If there was a Crystal Light truck, it would be one of the biggest food truck or drink trucks. Anyway, sorry, a little nostalgia.
Hey, I had the Crystal Light
Okay.
craze too.
Okay, but
I mean, it's still out there.
you got to the point where you got the little packets
Yes,
and you
the
do the
little
one by
packets,
ones.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we made the pictures of the stuff,
Yes.
and then my
Right.
mom yelled at me when I put one pink and one yellow. She's like, "We don't do that in this house."
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
make like a nice new color.
Yeah, no creativity. It sounds like a blast. Is there anything that we've got artisans every third Wednesday? Wednesdays from 4 to 7 in the municipal lot. Are there any places online where people could go to follow along with what's going on?
Yeah, so we have a website, MaumeeFarmersMarket.com, and then we also have a Facebook page, Uptown Maumee Farmers Market. You can find on there, and then there's weekly invites that you can.
Oh.
I can't remember the word, but
yeah,
you can RSVP on there
event
and
pages, probably.
put interested. Yeah, event pages.
My apologies, my tangent. What were some of the other food trucks? We nailed down lemonade every week, but some of the other food trucks that you've got lined up for the spring and summer?
Well, Margo and I weren't really involved in doing that. That was kind of on our coordinators.
Right.
So
We've not been privy.
I'm very confident in the food truck selections, though.
Okay.
So they're going to be awesome.
They tell us there's some good ones.
Yes.
They've got a great rotation. So.
Yes, they do.
This is a little different from Sylvania and Toledo, and if there's smaller ones, they escape me right now. There's where's the Perrysburg Farmers Market downtown?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
It's on Thursdays.
And I know they needed to keep that thing going. I wonder how you guys will work out being different from Toledo and Sylvania. How have the businesses been responsive in Uptown to this coming?
The businesses are actually very excited. We got to speak at one of the chamber meetings, Maumee Chamber, kind of about everything and promoting our sponsorships that are needed. So we got quite a bit of sponsorship just from promoting it to the chamber. So one of the great things is we have our community sponsorship. So that's a $1,000 level, and you're able to sponsor a family in need every week.
Great.
So $40 goes to a family. They can spend that at the farmer's market. And so we do need a few more of those, so that would be nice to have a few more. And then we also have a friend of the market sponsorship, so that means that your name will be posted every week, and you're sponsoring the music every week. So that's pretty exciting. That one is $200 for 1 week and $500 for 3 weeks.
Excellent. Good deal.
But we have pretty good feedback, and we have quite a few business owners on the committee putting this all together.
Right, because when we started kind of talking about location, which we went through a slew of different locations, one of the ways we thought it could make it friendlier to the businesses is not shutting down streets. So that's one of the reasons why we kind of put it in the parking lot for now, so we don't have any street shut down and people can still get access to the businesses without any issues. So.
Excellent. Who are some of, or if maybe this is on the coordinators as well, can you talk about some of the music that will be present during this?
Yeah. So we'll be doing a lot of solo or duo acts. I know Dave Carpenter is one that was interested. Chloe and the Steel Strings. So kind of a mix of a lot of fun local bands.
So a really, really small stripped down version of Acoustics for Autism.
Yes. Very small.
Very, very small, yes.
Is that it for Farmers Market? Did we cover everything?
Well, one more thing.
Please.
June 11th, we will be doing a combination of what we used to have our vegan takeover. So this will just be vegan vendors and food trucks and whatnot at the farmers market. So we're pretty excited about that, and so are the vendors.
Great.
Yeah.
Do we know of any council people who are in the studio today who might want to talk about some other things coming up throughout the spring and summer at Maumee?
I'm a council member.
Oh, how perfect.
Yes.
Aside from Farmers Market, what are some Maumee things we can look forward to this year?
Well, tonight we have a rain garden presentation happening. As everyone knows, Maumee's dealing with some sewer problems, and we are asking residents to disconnect illicit connections to our sanitary sewers. And sometimes that's going to put stormwater into their yards, which could cause yards to hold water. So we're trying to offer some different events, educating residents on what kind of plants to plant or trees to plant to absorb some of that extra water that might be coming out of their footer drains or their sub pumps from their basement. So that's an event that we're having tonight at the Maumee Library. Our Environmental Tree Advisory Commission has an event. I think we're filled out now for the rest of the year, so we have at least one event a month. So we're doing the rain garden presentation this month. Next month we're doing a big ribbon cutting, joining forces with Toledo and Temacog, lots of different people. Tarta, May 1st at the Big B at the Anthony Wayne Trail in South Detroit. We're doing a grand opening of the bike path, and we wanted to make sure to highlight as well the connection points to Toledo and some of the other trails, because with the bike paths that Maumee is putting in, we're trying to connect to the other trails in and around us. So that's something that's happening in May, along with the farmers market. There's going to be the farmers market starts on the 28th. I think this is the 29th. We're going to have a bike rodeo and a glow roll. And then in June, we're going to be doing another presentation at the library, kind of talking to residents about how they can implement solar into kind of their electricity needs. So being able to sign up to for suppliers that support clean energy. And we're going to be doing some more movies. We're going to do, of course, I'm going to blank now. The Erie situation, that's going to be in September. July, we're doing, it's how to power a city, I believe. They showed it a year or two ago at Imagination Station. So that's about solar power. So we're doing a couple more movie events at the Maumee Indoor Theater. And we're going to have some kind of more speaking sessions at the library as well. And then we're currently planning some sort of events to kind of go up. Last year was the first year we did a resolution in support of Juneteenth, recognizing Juneteenth as a city. So this year we're trying to plan some events kind of surrounding that. So there will be some things we'll be announcing for June to do. And we're looking to do more kind of an education focused focus at the Maumee Indoor Theater, since we have that great space to kind of invite people there to learn more.
Any changes, adjustments, enhancements, subtractions to this year's fireworks event?
Not that I've heard.
Okay.
Usually it's the same or more.
Okay.
I do know a little bit about that.
Oh, we do have one less day.
Yes, it's one less day, so it's just on July 3rd, and the music will actually be going until midnight. So we're pretty excited about that.
You said one less day.
Yes.
Because last year, it was like a mini music festival, correct?
Correct. So it was on the 3rd and the 4th.
Right.
This year, we're just going to do it on the 3rd.
Good to know.
Given that it is a Friday, the 4th is. So the 3rd will be pretty action-packed and exciting. That music will be going until midnight.
I love action.
Yes.
Let me jump
There's
ahead.
lots of action in Maumee all the time.
Yes.
It's none of this stuff. These are all the fun things. The action is the other stuff. Correct me if I have these details wrong, but some news last week hit that we're getting another long run, like the upcoming Glass City Marathon. It's called the Garmin Race.
I heard that. Someone sent it to me.
Did you not know this, Miss Council?
I did not know this.
Okay, Maria's shaking her head
Yes,
here.
yeah.
Fill in some details if I missed them. I'm not a runner, so it's not super on my radar.
Yeah.
It's the Garmin, and it's kind of taking over the Mini Muddy, correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
I'm also not a runner. My sister is, so she's pretty excited about this. But yeah, it looks like a pretty exciting event, and we're getting another marathon.
And the Mini Muddy would go from Maumee along the river to downtown to the ballpark,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And obviously, so this is going to be a nice event. I know they also had mentioned. For us non-runners, there will be a festival, a finish line festival of sorts that people can participate in.
Okay.
I don't know if other races have those kinds of things for the non-runners or what.
I mean, I feel like, so I have always been a runner. As of late,
And you don't know
run
about-
anymore.
Okay.
Well,
you can run from your constituents.
Oh, geez. I'd rather stop and talk to them. But no, as of late, I've not been running a whole lot, but I did get the information shared, and I saw kind of a far-off view of the course. I haven't had a chance to kind of drill in and see exactly where it is, but it's not uncommon to have some sort of party event. It's not always just the runners. I mean,
Right.
a lot of other people kind of show up for it, too.
Good to know.
So, yeah, I'm sure they're going to have something great for everyone.
Do you want to cover any political stuff? We don't have to go hardcore before we wrap up.
So the city's still doing some community discussions.
At the indoor with whoever shows up.
So I believe the next one might be in the basement. I think it's in the basement of the indoor, and then I think we have another one after that is in at at the library. So we've been kind of bouncing back and forth at those couple locations. Our first one was in the indoor. We got some feedback from people about kind of noise levels, and it just didn't quite work out real well. The last one that we had was at the space in the library, and that went really well. So then this next one is going to be in the basement of the indoor, and that is, we have a lot of city staff there that people can just kind of come in as they want during the time frame that's offered, and ask any questions they need or want to about the city. It doesn't have to be sewer stuff. It can be about anything. So we're continuing to try to have more discussions that people can come to us and find out information that they might be seeking. That seems to be a lot better resource than Facebook.
And reading the internet.
Yes.
If people were unfamiliar with you, whether they were in Maumee or just in Northwest Ohio reading what was going on, they would think that you were this horrific small country autocratic dictator where if they defy you, they're immediately thrown into El Salvadorian prisons, and you're like the sweetest lady in the world. All you want to do is protect trees and living things. So from your perspective, that was me setting things up in the way that this could sound Pollyanna-ish, but you have no agenda. Would you say that these meetings that you've had to talk about the water issues have been more successful than not? Can you offer maybe some of the things that people have said, like, thanks for having this, I didn't know X, Y, or Z. Thanks. What's been some of the outcomes of those?
They've been very positive. I have not been able to attend each one of them. The first one, I was out of town and could not attend. It sounded like it went very well. Everyone that came for answers it seemed like they left with the answers, answers to questions that they had. Same, the second one, I was able to be there, and same thing. I mean, the people that came in with questions, they seemed very pleased, when they left. I think the hardest part of that is, just making sure you have questions to ask. But I feel like people should feel comfortable to come in and ask anything. We are not scary. We are there wanting
Scott's
to
scary.
help. Scott's scary. He'll like that.
I know.
But I mean, I got into this position because I wanted to make my community better and help my community and make it better for my kids. So yes, when I got on the Maumee recall page and looked at my bio, and it was very interesting.
Eats children, devours live animals, hates kittens.
Yes, I shared it with my family and some friends, and they're like, "Wow, they don't know you at all." I'm like, "No, they've probably never had a conversation with me." And my mom said, "What? I didn't know you grew up on a farm." I said, "Neither did I." So, I mean, you could literally insert someone else's photo and someone else's name and have that lie be for anyone else. So, please have a conversation with me if you want to learn more about me. I'm not mean and scary. You'll probably see me at a soccer game or track meet or the community gardens. I don't attend scary things either. So
you're protecting your trees so you can assure that you can get the proper broom for your witching hour things.
Yes.
Wood. Can I ask you this business question? Many of the people keep falling back to, we don't like that these things are passed, in emergency instances. Could you discuss that? Why they are like that? Why they might be wrong about that? Why you have to do certain things the way you do?
So, I mean, emergency is the term that's been chosen to describe immediate action.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, that term sounds a lot scarier than it is. It just means it needs to happen right away.
And who is creating the immediacy? Obviously not you, it's other entities, correct?
Right.
That press you into action?
Or sometimes it's just, we have annual things that, it's a matter of this has to be approved by this time to meet the deadline. And it's like, we don't have, if it's not immediate action, we have to wait for 3 readings, which is 3 meetings, which is a month and a half. So imagine at your home or in your business having to wait a month and a half to make any one decision on any given item. I mean, it could be something pretty small too. Can you imagine the accumulation of items over the course of days, weeks, months, years? I mean, it would be a constant snowball effect. So there's, decisions made based on different factors depending on what the topic is as to whether 3 readings is warranted, whether it needs to be immediate, waive the 3 readings, or it needs to be emergency. But we don't try to do emergencies if we don't have to. But I mean, if you look at many other municipalities, I mean, check out Toledo City Council. Like practically everything is passed as emergency.
Right.
I mean, it's just.
It takes a lot to run a city or a municipality.
Yeah, and it's like the bigger things that, you want to allow for more kind of input, and the big changes are things that, 3 readings make sense to allow people the chance. But, one of the frustrating things, I feel like it has a little bit of kind of relationship to that too, is, you hear people talking about the emergency, they want time to give input, but yet I don't feel like we necessarily get the input that people say they want to give.
Sure.
Just like, we've had a lot of people say they really want to be involved in committees. They want us to make more committees so that they can sign up for the committees. We've heard from not no one, but very, very few people, like literally a handful of people that might be interested in a committee. I mean, they're not contacting us. They're not contacting council members that I know of. They're not contacting the mayor. The mayor is the one in charge of putting people on committees and selecting people for committees. But if you really are interested, talk to us, one. But the second thing is start going to committee meetings. I mean, that's what a lot of us did before we started getting involved. That was like a stepping stone. We started to go into meetings and sharing ideas and getting to know people and having conversations with them before deciding, I think maybe we want to be a part of council. I mean, so if you really do want to get involved, start coming to meetings and meeting some of the people that you're just hearing about and don't really know a whole lot about, and
I guess
share ideas.
My only contention with that, and you can certainly relate, is people barely have enough time in their lives anyway, and they get involved, and I guess it's about threading that needle between family life, and if you're going to have a high volume of complaints about what's happening where you live, then maybe you got to put some things for the betterment of your family, the long run, aside to come to these things.
Well, or feel okay with our form of government, which is a representative form of government. So I was chosen to represent the community as a whole and vote my conscience. There are a lot of people out there right now that are saying it seems like, this is the way I'm hearing it, it seems like I'm supposed to be polling everyone and getting everyone's feelings or thoughts. Now, granted, we have over 13,000 people that live in Maumee. I'm never going to get to the number of people needed to really get a majority kind of idea of what someone might think. And granted, say I got 5,000 people, who says they're all going to agree with the same idea or the same thought, like yes or no. So it's like I can hear those people, I can read the emails, I can have conversations with them and hear what they have to say about it and consider that, along with all the information that I have from the city's end, and then use all that to then decide on what my vote will be. But it's like I've been accused of not listening to my constituents. But the way that I see that is because I'm not voting in the way they want me to vote, they think I'm not listening. But it could be a possibility that I've heard what you said. I don't agree with what you said, and so I'm voting the way that I'm voting based on all of those other factors I just mentioned.
And the people that are the loudest are often a minority, and they're the negative ones in many walks of life. People who are super positive are less likely to come forward. There are far more negative reviews for X, Y, or Z restaurant than there are positive ones. You said it in so many words, and I was inside cheering. You couldn't see it, but I agree with you, and I think we have lost sight with you work for us, and you are at our beck and call, as opposed to you have elected me to make decisions for you and your best interest. And what I talk about when Jim was here, and please tell him I said hi, another mayoral candidate from Toledo was in here last Thursday, and I have said, look, I get the tough position you're in, and you now know this running for council. You essentially have to see the future. You have to be clairvoyant, because you have to find a way to balance making the best decisions really for the future while also not pissing off everybody in the present. And it's an incredibly delicate balance to have. And as I think we have maybe kicked around before, you're just going to keep kicking people out of leadership positions until, because that's not the way this is going to work. That's incredibly hard. And we use Maumee as the example. If you continually do that, the ball will never move forward, and you will become stagnant and potentially just die off, which I believe is why Uptown was rebuilt, so it could keep up with all these outlying areas. So when you're out beyond Sylvania and Perrysburg, smaller places, so that people wouldn't go to Fremont so much. They'd stay here in their area, and I'm just using that as an example.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They'd stay here and put their money here in places where there are more population than other places. Sorry, that was very long-winded.
Well, and I don't know if people understand, like when I came in, we essentially have a whole new council. There were a lot of people that were around for 20 years, 15 years, a very long time. And I remember when I was running, they wanted all new people. And we got all new people in, and now we are at where we're at. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit of Groundhog Day. Oh, we need to get new people. We're going to get new people in, and then it's nope, we need to get new people. And I think I really hope at some point people take a moment and think, okay, well, maybe this isn't working, and maybe we need to look at something else, or maybe I'm missing something. But either way, we're trying to do our best to kind of have more education sessions and put ourselves out there to have conversations. Unfortunately, there are some spaces that are not welcoming to that. Social media definitely being one of them. I mean, I can open up my mouth and act like I'm going to say something, and I will get clobbered. So it's like finding ways to be able to have good conversations and not get kind of pulled down into a negative space where people get too angry and then are not able to listen on both ends, our end and their end, because so
Can I ask you one last business question?
Sure.
Sorry you got dragged into this, Maria, but it's always a good discussion. Would you say that, and I think he might have mentioned this in some places or not, I don't know, I can only pull so much context and inflection from reading something. Do you feel that Patrick, he has some remorse that he might have handled some of these situations a little bit differently? Would you say he might be a little softer in tone beyond all this?
I feel like most people that when something has gone, kind of awry, which,
this is awry.
Right. Well, and we know that, the sewer thing made a lot of it go awry. And we've said that, I went on the news and we apologized, and we're trying to do everything we can to right that wrong. So yeah, yes, I feel like he most definitely realizes that was not the right way to go. And we all do, which is why we're headed the direction that we are. And he's met with over 400 residents now, one-on-one, talking to them about their sewer systems.
He said something to me when we chatted, when you set that up a year ago. He's like, there's very little productivity in town halls because everybody gets to yelling.
Yes.
But he's like, one-on-ones are great. I'm sure he's met far more people now than when he's been in this position prior to that, because there's very rare where one-to-one turns into a verbal fist fight.
Right. And I can compare it to like going door to door when I was running for council. I would come across someone that might have been, very upset about any one given thing. I don't know what, insert whatever. And it could have been a short conversation or a very long conversation. But by the end, everyone had calmed down and things were fine. Sometimes they saw some perspectives that I had. I saw some perspectives that they had. And I feel like, in that kind of interaction, everyone walks away feeling a little better. But he's always been up for one-on-one interactions with people. Now there's a specific reason for it and a need, so people are actually reaching out and doing it more so now. But in the past, he's available weekends, weekdays, evenings, early mornings. He's always put himself out there. I tell him he works way too many hours. But yeah, that's a much better space. If you have questions and you have concerns, you should most definitely make an appointment and have a conversation. And I can guarantee you're going to feel a lot better afterwards.
We see this in government and in leadership, and I tried to zoom out as far as I could and literally up the space. And I was looking at a lot of interactions, and you as a mom and a wife can maybe relate to this, and Maria yourself as well. I look back beyond COVID times, and people have always kind of bugged me. And I know that the focus, I love animals. The focus for the last handful of years has been leadership. you look across the world, incumbents like lost
Are you
leadership.
saying we need therapy dogs in council?
I wouldn't
We
be
should
against.
have one at
I wouldn't be
City Hall.
against
I think
it.
it'd be
But
amazing. Sorry, go on.
no, we hone in because they make important. Government makes important decisions, and they have taken the brunt of being kicked out of their positions. But then again, I've zoomed out as far as I could, and I began to think back into a lot of encounters that I've had. I'm like, people have really been a letdown in a lot of ways. I just had a friend, unfortunately, tell me about a horrific urgent care situation, and I'm like, urgent care has no longer become urgent or care. And it sucks, like, from somebody not holding a door open for you to the highest levels of government. Like, as a people, we've really lost our way in the recent decades. And unfortunately, when it comes to government, you offer to become a punching bag, but as we've seen in this situation, it's gone overboard at times. And it's unfortunate because, as you've said many times to me and others, like, I just want to do the best I can for where I live. Like, I am not here to be named global dictator by any stretch of the imagination. But it's been disappointing to see institutions at all levels become very disappointing in time. And I wish there was a way that we can get everybody working for the good again. But we're all too fast to go at each other's necks, unfortunately.
Yes, very fast to go that route.
I think you have a great neck, and I don't want to go at it.
Well, and that's why this farmers market is just so exciting.
Yeah.
That we can
It'll
come
bring
together.
the community together, and we can support local businesses and small businesses and all that.
The bad news, there's 10 bad stories for one good one, and it's usually just loud. But a good thing, like the farmers market, really should overshadow the bad things that pop up, because it is such a good for the community. And there's unlikely to be, you'll bring people together at the farmers market who, whether they know it or not, we're probably yelling and cursing at one another on the internet, but they're standing next to one another, and there is a little hope for humanity going, hey, you know what, put that down, I saw some better apples down there, blah blah blah, hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee, where maybe weeks ago they were ready to ruin each other's lives.
Exactly.
And this has been a talk for a long time, and people have we want a grocer in Uptown Maumee. But so the farmers market has always been a talk. We need a farmers market. We want a farmers market. And it's interesting because you'll hear people say that a lot of times, and you kind of wonder, okay, what will be the response when we kind of go at this and get it going? But the response has been amazing. We had one of our volunteer sessions, like training sessions, last week, and there was more people than they anticipated. People have been contacting them left and right about volunteering. I mean, who has that problem anymore? It's always the opposite that you hear.
Yeah.
We're having another training session, I think tonight, isn't it?
Yep.
So because it is mandatory training, if you do want to volunteer for the farmers market, you had to get trained to be able to do so. But yeah, I mean, it's not only a positive thing happening, and we know people have been talking about it for a while, but you're actually seeing the action to go along with them talking about it, because I feel like you don't always see that. So that's been really, really encouraging.
There's one more thing that I totally forgot to mention. We are actually going to be doing chef demos during the farmers market as well. So any food that is being able to be purchased at this event, we will have chefs showing you what to do with the food.
Excellent.
And little samples to go along with it.
Local chefs?
Yes, local chefs.
Any names you know off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head. The owner of Levi and Lilacs is the one who's organizing this, so she knows a lot of local chefs. So we have a different one every week, so we get different takes on everything on that.
I think they're keeping some things from us so they can be surprising to everyone.
Yes, I think
Surprises are good. Where would most people in let's say you're both two residents of Maumee, where would you do your food shopping? Would you go to like Churchill's? Would you go up to Meyer, or go to the Kroger? Where do most people where you guys live in your neighborhoods go food shopping?
I usually go to Meyer, Kroger, Monnette's, Aldi, kind of a mix of the.
And I go to Kroger a lot because they have a good organic selection. But then I also really like Churchill's over in Perrysburg. They've got a really good organic selection too, if you haven't noticed a theme. But it would be really nice to be able to go uptown and get some fresh things. And that's my kids even talk about now. They're like 13 and 15, and they've heard me say this for so long. It's like, you could run uptown for me and grab this, that, and the other. It would be so nice.
Yeah. And
we
then-
can do that.
Send little Johnny down
Yes,
for groceries.
Go get me some peppers.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then our presenting sponsor for it is the ProMedica Toledo Hospital Emergency and Urgent Care Center.
Yes,
Excellent.
The
So-
standalone in Maumee.
Yes. Yes.
Last business question. What did happen to the Monnettes? Why didn't it come through? Can't talk about
It
it?
hasn't completely
Oh, okay. So
not
it's
gone through.
So it's still
It's like any project like that.
Okay.
There's still talk,
okay.
and there's still negotiations, and
Okay.
there's still.
It's a long process for to get anything off the ground these days.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of promising things happening in Maumee in regards to those type of items, especially business development. We're going to have an announcement on April 22nd too. So that is exciting, and there's a few others there's a lot of things in the works that we really hope happen, because there are definitely some spots that need some love or need some kind of reinvigorating, and we are working in that direction. And there are definitely some good possible things that will be coming. So hopefully we can continue down that road without everything imploding.
I don't know if I asked you, or maybe this was Patrick or somebody else with the mayor. Had you followed the discourse online about Conant being reimagined, you would have thought it would have been an exodus of businesses on that very short strip. How many businesses left over the course of construction?
Do you know of any?
I don't think any left.
Yeah,
So the Small Box Music is one that just recently is not there. I know that building also just sold. But
in positive news, two businesses
new.
opened locations in downtown Toledo, like the Maumee Valley Chocolate.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
the
And then
second
Brew
location.
House as well.
Brew House is
Yeah.
a second location, and we just got Crave Cookie
Yep.
downtown. And
so we're not
Uptown.
we're not in the negative as you would think
No.
from businesses
Most
fleeing
definitely
Maumee.
not. No.
Like, it's a lot of talk, and Uptown is thriving. The pot place, melting pot type place.
Oh, Uptown Fondue and
Fondue.
Wine.
Yes. I'm sure. I know the Levi and Lilac people. They have to
Yes.
be thriving as well,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And we
it's a
got-
cool place.
And we got Side Cuts too. Is
Yeah.
another place where Lucas
It
County
is.
Soil Water District used to be. Like that went in there. I mean, we're getting businesses. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And they
it's
do
exciting.
euchre nights every Wednesday, so that's
Are you a
fun.
big euchre fan?
I
am a
am.
huge
Not a pegger.
Big
fan.
fan.
I did not know that. I'm
Yeah.
very excited about that.
Maria, Margo, M&M, ladies, thank you so much for coming by and talking farmers market. Good luck with everything. I'm sure it
Thanks.
will be a huge hit. Thanks for talking some other business. It's
Yeah.
sucky what you're going through, but like I said, I don't want to say you asked for it. You never would have asked for this level of acrimony, but thanks for putting your neck on the line.
Yeah, people say that though.
What?
With the negative, they say, "Well, you signed up for that." It's
Not that
I don't-
much.
Well, I don't. Why is it automatically assumed that if you come into a role of I like the term civil servant a lot more than a politician, but no one deserves to get the level of abuse that you get. No one does. So I don't think anyone should ever expect anyone to ask for something like that. So.
Servant makes it seem, goes back, giving power to the people who are coming after you in a way. Servant makes it seem like you do my bidding. So, like,
Yeah.
it's like an unwinnable situation.
Right.
Awesome.
Yes.
Ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.